Right now, you chose to click on this video, or did you? Maybe the algorithm served it to you, maybe you were bored, maybe your brain was already hungry for this exact type of content and you had nothing to do with it. Here is a question that has kept philosophers up at night for centuries. Do you actually have free will? Or are you just a very complicated machine that thinks it is making choices? Let's find out, or at least let's make the confusion more interesting. One of those topics where the more you think about it, the less solid the ground feels under your feet. We are going to argue that free will is real. Then we are going to argue that it is completely fake. And then we are going to sit in the uncomfortable middle where honestly most of the truth probably lives in my point of view. No easy answers today, just better questions. Let's go. Okay, so let's start with the case for free will. The most obvious argument is this: you experience it right now. You can lift your right hand or not. You can pause this video, you can close the tab, you can stand up and make yourself a cup of tea. Nothing is physically stopping you. That feeling of being the author of your own actions, that's real. That's data. Philosophers call this libertarian free will, and no, nothing to do with politics. It just means the idea that humans are genuine agents. We deliberate, we weigh options, we choose. A rock rolling down a hill has no choice, but you do. And here's a strong point: our entire society is built on this assumption. We have courts, we have prisons, we give people rewards, we assign blame. If free will didn't exist, then punishment would make no sense at all. You wouldn't punish a calculator for giving you the wrong answer now, would you? But we do hold humans accountable for their actions because deep down, we all agree that humans could have done otherwise. Then there's compatibilism, which is probably the most popular position among philosophers today. Compatibilists say free will and determinism can both be true at the same time. Their argument is that free will doesn't mean your choices come from nowhere. It just means your choices come from you, from your values, your reasoning, your personality. William James said it well. He said that even if the universe has a causal chain, the fact that you are the one processing and deciding, that itself counts as freedom. So, yes, maybe your childhood shaped you, maybe your environment shaped you, but you still are the one sitting here, thinking, reflecting, choosing what to do with all of that. Isn't that enough to call it free will? Okay, now let's flip the table, because the case against free will is honestly terrifying. Let's start with science. In the 1918s, a neuroscientist named Benjamin ran an experiment. He asked people to flick their wrist whenever they felt like it and to note exactly when they decided to do it. And what he found shook people up. The brain was already preparing to move before the person was consciously aware of deciding. Let that sink in. Your brain started the action and then you became aware of deciding, which means the decision might have already been made for you by unconscious brain processes, and your conscious mind just takes credit for it afterwards. Now, you're not the driver, you might just be the passenger who thinks that they're driving. Then there's determinism. This is the idea that every event in the universe, including every thought in your head, is a result of prior causes. Your neurons fire based on physics and chemistry. Those neurons were shaped by your genes. Your genes came from your parents. Your parents were shaped by their environment, and that environment was shaped by events going back billions and billions of years. So the question becomes, where exactly did you ever enter this chain? Where did your choice begin? Now, one philosopher put it brutally: man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. You can act on your desires, but you didn't choose your desires. You didn't choose to find certain things attractive, scary, interesting. You just woke up with those already installed. And then there's social structure. Think about this: a kid born in a wealthy family with access to education, stability, opportunity is going to make very different choices than a kid born in poverty with trauma and no safety net. Are those really free choices? Or are they just predictable output of wildly different starting conditions? The structure of society, your class, your race, your geography, your access, all of this shapes what options even appear in front of you to even begin with, and you can only choose from the options you can see. So maybe free will isn't just limited by your brain chemistry, maybe it is also limited by the walls of the system you were born into. You think you're choosing from an open menu, but maybe someone already decided what's on that menu before you were ever born. Okay, so here's what I actually land on this, and it's messy, fair warning, it's a personal opinion. I don't think free will is fully real in the way we imagine it. That Hollywood version where you are a completely free, self made individual who built themselves from scratch, the Matrix, that's a myth. The structure matters, I think. The starting point matters. A person who grows up in a war zone and chooses to pick up a weapon is making a different kind of choice than someone in a stable environment choosing a career. Calling both of those equally free, I think, feels dishonest. Libet's experiment is hard to ignore in my POV. The idea that your consciousness is narrating decisions that your brain already made is deeply uncomfortable. But I also can't fully accept that we are just robots, because if that is true, then this video means nothing. Your reflection means nothing. Growth means nothing. The fact that you can watch this and think, maybe I should question my assumptions and then actually change something about how you live, that feels like something, doesn't it? Maybe free will exists, maybe, but only in a very narrow lane. Maybe the lane is shaped by your biology, your past, your class, your culture, but within that lane, there is some real steering happening. The question I keep coming back to is this: if you learn that your choices are heavily influenced by forces outside your control, does that awareness itself give you a tiny bit of more freedom? Can consciousness of the cage loosen the bars even a little? And if your sense of free will is just an illusion, but living as if you have it makes you a more reflective, responsible, intentional person, does it matter if it's real? I'm not giving a clean answer because I don't think there is one, not yet, maybe not ever, I don't know. But here's the question I want to leave myself with, and I want to leave everyone with. If your choices are the product of your brain chemistry, your upbringing, your environment, who exactly is being held responsible when you make a bad choice? If free will is real, why do humans in similar conditions so reliably make similar choices? If free will is an illusion, why does it feel so real? And does that feeling itself count for something? Maybe the biggest one: does it even matter at all if free will is real, as long as the act of reflection and questioning changes what you do next? Think about that. Maybe I should think about that, because maybe the point isn't to solve free will. Maybe the point is that asking the question itself is the most human thing a human can do, whether you choose to ask it or not. If you made it here, something brought you here to this video. Call it algorithm, curiosity, fate, or a choice. Drop in the comments, what do you think about free will? Does it genuinely exist? And what about its consequences if it exists or if it doesn't exist at all?